Greetings, YouTube. Welcome to an introduction to the Yargan Star Seed, or the Earth Seed Consciousness. The Yargan Star Seed, or the Yargan Seed, which translates into Earth Seed Consciousness. So the Yargans are typically from the planet Yarga, and they are in their own system called the Yargan System. There's other planets within the system as well, but the main one is Yarga, and yes, the system is named after the planet Yarga, and it's spelled with an I. And the Yargan Earthseed is known as that because they've spent countless lifetimes on either that world or other garden worlds within the outer belts and bandwidths of the universe. And the Yargan system is within another universal spectrum of systems, and that's at a different light spectrum as well of that. So it hosts a different light spectrum. And the Yargan stream of consciousness is connected to when they incarnate into this reality field. They are connected with the consciousness of Sophia. And Sophia, to me, is a conscious entity and very organic, as I've had very many interactions with her, and I've had some very I've had conversations. I've met with her in a very intimate and private settings within what we would call part of the inner earth that you can travel to if you have the attunement of the consciousness within your DNA stream is that of the inner earth, and her garden is Sophia's garden. Now I am Sophia's garden, and it's a sanctuary. It's one you can get healing and refuge at. The Yargan system is filled with plants and animals. It reminds me of an earthy system. The Yargan seed is typically one that's associated with being very close to Earth, as close as they can, with a planet that's not their home-hosted planet or their home-based planet. The Yargan comes from many, many miles and eons away, and as far as timelines go, they come from a very far away timeline, as opposed to the current one we're in now. Yargans are typically also associated and connected to dragons, as they can embody the dragon consciousness and also work with the dragon consciousness of both the earth dragons and, again, the celestial or universal dragon templates. That they will also radiate out large amounts of light into the fields. The Yargan seeds can typically plant seeds of light, which was presented as very interesting. They call these seeds of light, and they're basically what you would call light codes, and you plant them directly into the physical environment with your incarnational tower or conduit. And within the spectrum, they can implant a large array of light codes or seeds into the collective, and they pretty much water them and take care of them like a gardener, hence the gardening archetype of consciousness. And yes, I've discovered recently that there is what we would call in the gardening archetype of consciousness. And it doesn't mean you need to physically do a garden here. If you do, great. That does not require that. It means that you've become a genetic. You also are probably pretty good with the genetics yourself, whether you do it as a job or not. Maybe you're good at healing your own genetic lines, so your ancestry, and then working on epigenetics. The Yargan is an earth seed because of the fact that they can have direct communication with the plants, the animals, and the hosted planet they're on. Now, in the case of Earth, this is the hosting planet to the Yargan consciousness right now. I would go so far as to say that Yarga could be may be considered a complicated thing for me to speak on, but I'm going to do the best I can right now. A future version of Earth, but Earth's bigger because Earth is going through an expansion period at some point. You'll see an expansion period at some point, new lands coming up and all that, because we're living in that prophecy and timeline. But you could say that the Yargan it's not a small world, it's a large world, but I would say when the Earth expands, it'll be a little different as opposed to Yarga. Yarga is a green world, much like Earth. The Yargans embody the truth of the philosophy of their planet, which is to live in harmony with what she provides. So don't take any more than you're going to use at the end of the day. The harmony we speak of is with plants, animals, trees, and nature. The Yargan carries a large amount of light within their fields, allowing them access back and forth in their fields to be able to implement the light codes directly into the physical reality. Now with that, what happens is the physical reality changes quicker than if you have to go through your own gateways inside of you and then pull everything into balance and harmony or harmonization through your fields. This way it's done directly through you without having to go into inner earth and then bring the energy out and then make sure it's harmonized in accordance with the geographic center that you are placed on as this type of a Yargan star seed. They work directly with, so they're powerful beings of light. And on Earth, they also obtain a shadow, because the shadow and the light are equal strength. On Earth, it's supposed to be the dark, and the light are supposed to have opposite, or not one being any greater in power, but a balance and harmonization of both. Whether it is or not, we're not going to get into it here in this video. This is simply an introduction to the Earth seed. Yargan consciousness, they typically act as a... They normally think of the spirit world being anchored into the physical plane, which that is correct. But in this case, Yargans anchor the physical plane into the spiritual plane, and then they can become mentors, and they're teaching others that do not incarnate onto Earth, that are around them in their large auric fields that encompass a different UV spectrum than that of typical native Terrans. And with that, they can they can teach the higher celestial planes or spiritual planes about earthly life through their incarnational host or through their conduit. It's a very interesting mechanism, in my opinion, that the Yargan can act as a stabilization pillar to the spiritual planes. Now, we typically think, hey, the angels are watching us. That's true, but this case, this is different. This is where your spirits that are around you, and the Yargans are very powerful when it comes to spirits, deceased loved ones. A piece of their energy will hang around them and stuff, and they're extremely powerful. They're probably, as far as Earthseed streams of consciousness go, they're one of the most powerful. Now, can you embody Yargan, which is a starseed collective? It is within its reality field, it presents as a non-materialized reality, but it's a collective of light beings. A lot of times the Yargans can traverse the universe with their consciousness stream and go through the universe with not needing any outside technology but conscious. Now that to me is a consciously powerful individual and being. Now I'm not saying other beings can't do that. I'm just aware in the Earth, Seed, Garden, archetype spectrum of consciousness that's what they can do. They can go through the inner worlds and travel through using their body as the portable stargate, which our bodies are portable stargates, and then go into that world and then explore it potentially. They can traverse the universe with their minds and their consciousness, and they can create worlds that are imploded. So in other words, if a world imploded because they're using certain types of technologies to disrupt how the materialized world is put together, and that implodes on itself because of some issue that maybe they shouldn't have used the technology, or maybe they're an infant species and they shouldn't be using it. They can go ahead and fuse your light together, and you can get out of that construct and make a new construct with a new planet. And that's some pretty powerful stuff with fusing technologies together. They're light. This is all organic light technology together. This has nothing to do with artificiality. This is already within them or you. Now, those of you that I'm speaking to, I myself am a Yargan starseed, and we encompass about 3 to 5% of the total incarnated, whether it be star races, star beings, lights, angelics, any of that spectrum. And the Argan world, the sunlight is not as strong as it is here. It's very much like in mid-summer temperatures, if I have to put it in terms of being in the U.S. and using the Fahrenheit system, I would have to say that the daytime temperatures are going to get to 80 to 82. No humidity. And it's going to be like that, from my understanding, year-round. From the part I'm from, year-round. I'm from the southern part of the Argan system, which I discovered that recently through my Akashic field journeying and doing some of my own journeying work with my own life spectrum. I want to say that's about all I have to say now on the topic of the Argan. This has been a Argan introduction, or an Earthseed Argan Earthseed introduction. That is all I have for now. I'll be back soon with another video, which is going to continue, and this is going to open up a different spectrum of light. This is a different energy spectrum opening up for me as well. So we'll go on the journey together. For now, I wish all of you beautiful souls and lights a happy and lovely day wherever you are in the world, and may all your dreams come true, and may your timelines and realities manifest according to your highest heart's desires. Bye for now.